Good afternoon, good morning. This is Mark Johnson from Loyalty360. I want to welcome everyone back to our new interview series, the Loyalty360 Executive Spotlight. It's part of our Leaders in Customer Loyalty series. In this series, we have the privilege of speaking with conversations and talking with some of the most enlightened minds in the customer loyalty and customer experience field. They are running programs, but they're also bringing great advice to the brands and marketers out there that need that. All of them are members of Loyalty360, and these are a more personal interview with the individual who's running the program about where they are, how they got to where they are, and maybe some life lessons they've learned along the way. And today we have the pleasure to speak with Tim Glomb. He is the Vice President of Digital Content and AI at Wunderkind. How are you today, Tim?
Great, Mark. Good to see you again.
Great. Always having a chance to connect with you. First off, for those who don't know you or know kind of about your unique background, it would be great to let the audience know a little bit more about you. You found obviously a way into the space, but you have a very unique and rich background on the brand side, and would love to hear a little bit more about that.
Yeah, I'm a little bit of a pinball machine when getting up to here. So former brand marketer, good 10, 15 years on the brand marketing side, B2C space, working for the likes of Mark Cuban and some private equity firms. So I've spent a lot of time on the brand marketing side. Now, for the last 10 years plus, a little over 10 years, I've been on the technology side. So in the MarTech space, specifically to build relationships and technologies that actually meet the goals of the marketer. So I feel like I have a pretty good feel of both sides of that fence. And then, way back in the 20, 30 year plus, was sports, entertainment, music, Capitol Records, that kind of stuff. So entertainment into brand marketing, now into technology. Who knew?
Excellent. When you look at customer loyalty, is there a trend that you're excited about, and what is it, and how is Wunderkind preparing for the trend?
Yeah, so for me, I love loyalty. I'm a huge fan of certain brands for different reasons that I connect to them and use them repeatedly. United Airlines being one that I love.
Yeah.
For me, it's about the democratization of all of this information, including loyalty information. So when you can really, in today's day and age with AI and just the advancements in server technology, there's more we can do. So unlocking loyalty across the entire customer journey, I think is where loyalty is really starting to shine right now. Through all my emails, through my on-site experience, even if I'm not logged in because I just want to do a quick hit with Patagonia or United, being able to unlock that loyalty data, make me on your website or my experience, I think that's what I'm most excited about today.
Excellent. So, Tim, you have a very unique background. You mentioned the brand experience you have, sports entertainment. You've obviously done a significant amount of collaboration in the past. Now, when you look at kind of the state of customer loyalty, the marketing experience you have, if you could collaborate with any brand or industry to create a groundbreaking customer experience or customer loyalty program, who would it be and why?
Yeah, what comes to mind for me is Patagonia. I'm a big outdoor person. I love the brand. I love that, they turned the brand over to the globe. It's all about saving the globe. And I think that's a bold move from a company standpoint. Secondly, Patagonia is all about experience. I just got their recent catalog in the mail, which I don't normally look at print mail that comes through, but it's a book. It's a story. It's a journey. It's not selling me, waders or a UV, fishing shirt. Sure, I can do that inside, but the experience is great. So I think bringing Patagonia into my life everywhere I go. I just got back from London yesterday. I'm going to be on another trip later this week. That's where I think brands need to live. The ones that really truly connect with their customers. There's commodity-based brands. Yeah, of course, I need toilet paper. I need these other things. I don't know that I'm going to build a big loyalty, momentum with my toilet paper brand. But the brands that I live and feel, I think now with technology, AI, what's available, what consumers have in their hands, they have like a limitless potential for weaving themselves into everyday experiences. That doesn't mean, they're trying to sell me constantly. I'm just living the brand. I'm evangelizing the brand. And look, I'm talking about Patagonia. So that's what I'm talking about. The brands that you know and love that you always think about when you have your spare time and you're having those good moments. That's a brand I'd love to work with.
Excellent. When you look at customer experience, it's a very relevant topic. You and I have had numerous discussions about it over the years. When you look at the industry, what's the single biggest factor that influences a great customer experience?
I think it's unleashing and unlocking the data that's available on a given consumer. We live in an age, I worked for Scott McNealy, founder of Sun Microsystem, who famously in the 90s went in front of Congress and said, privacy's dead, get over it. I agree with that. I think most brands are in the business of using privacy for good to enhance an experience, enhance your life. That's why they exist. I think most consumers, especially younger consumers that we talk about and we survey a lot, don't really worry about nefarious use of their data. So if we're accepting that brands have access to me and my data because I cruise around the web and I do things, unleashing and unlocking it, I think that's the real potential. I think if brands are looking at partners who can help both collect, obtain, and use that data for a better experience, that's where the future is. I mean, that's where we are today with some brands. But that's what I'm extremely excited to see brands is unlock the data they have on consumers to make a better experience.
So Tim, when you look at being able to understand, unlock data, access the different data points to increase the efficacy of the customer experience efforts, how should brands be focusing on that?
Yeah, look, number one, don't try and do all of this yourself. You're very good at being your brand, whether you make widgets or experiences or hotels, selling airline flights. Do what you do and do it well. There are a million, literally, I feel like there's about a million companies out there that have data and can manipulate data to make your experience better with your customers. So lean on those companies. Don't try and build an identity graph. Don't try and build some, giant thing that detracts you from what you do really well, which is keep your brand. And then also just keep compliance in mind. Look at who else is using those vendors that have access to data. And then lastly, are they flexible and adaptable? The things that they do well, like at Wunderkind, we're an identity graph, can they actually integrate that in a meaningful way to quickly, seamlessly, easily, and cost effectively enhance your consumer experience? Then that's what you should be looking at. But the one recommendation I'd have is don't try and be everything to everyone. Just be your brand and go find the right partners that can execute, a better customer experience with you.
Okay. Where did you attend college?
I went to Westchester University and I did not graduate. I couldn't take it. And this is a time where I feel bad for kids right now deciding what they're going to do. And I have one who has to make a decision for this September. Do you go laden yourself with further education and a giant bill at the end of it? Hopefully you get a grant or something. Or do you actually go out into the real world and just see how things operate? And for me, that was the best path. It was getting straight in. So I left college early, went right into the road in the music business, and the rest is history. I feel like I've learned more from real world hands-on experience, getting my hands dirty, than any textbook or not to belittle it, but some teacher who's locked in a classroom teaching the same curriculum year over year. It wasn't for me.
That makes perfect sense. So you kind of started to allude to it. What was your first job after college?
Yeah, so I got wrapped up into the music world. It was a fun one. I ended up touring the globe with bands like Motley Crue. I helped manage a band, Everclear. It was a huge platinum selling artist in the early 90s. And that quickly evolved through music as music changed and became digitized and selling a CD wasn't really a thing anymore, into television. So I moved over to television, producing the Jackass Guys, a ton of stuff for MTV. That's where brand marketing, brand inclusion came in, and moved on into the brand world with large agencies and doing branded content. And I feel like content's been my common thread. Entertainment and content's been my thread for the last 30 years.
Okay. When you look at your first job, what was something you learned in that role, and how is that translated to your success in marketing?
Yeah, I learned a harsh lesson one day when we were doing a Saturday Night Live with the band Everclear. We got cut. John Goodman was the host. It was his, I think, 7th or 8th appearance. He was the person who had hosted the most, and they gave him an extra segment in real time. They made a decision right on the fly, and they were going to give him one more segment, which cut a song. Most bands play 2 songs on Saturday Night Live. You usually play your hit first that everyone knows, and then you play your new one to get people jazzed, at least back then. And they cut us. And I said, yeah, I understand. It's John Goodman, Sarah, this and that. And in hindsight, should have never done that. Should have never let them do that. And we should have been more aggressive in saying, no, this is why we're here. This is what we need to do. You told us we could play 2 songs. So it was a it was a moment in time in a live television event, but the ramifications of that were endless. And it taught me very quickly, fight for what your brand needs, fight for what you need to do within your brand, and take advantage of everything that's been afforded you and clearly promised. So fight,
That's
don't
awesome.
roll over, don't take no for an answer.
There you go. So kind of building off that, what's the best work advice you've ever been given?
Best work advice. Um, Mark Cuban is always big into reading manuals. We can call it software technology. You're buying, access to some technology. He would read everything that his companies were using. That was part of my job, is to go find the right technologies to bring in and scale across 150 brands in the Mark Cuban Company's organization. Knowing what the things you're investing in can do and what they should do is far different than just listening to a salesperson say, oh yeah, it'll do X, Y, and Z. Cool, sign the deal. Like, you should know somebody in your organization should be an expert. They should actually be better at the tools you're investing in than the company who's actually serving you the tools. So I really like it when our clients lean forward and know as much or have ideas beyond what we think our technologies can do. So that's the one thing I've always learned, is digging hard. I know you like to read, you like to get into the weeds and understand. I think that's a great trait that everybody should really consider. And even if you don't have the bandwidth to do it, find someone on your team who's dedicated to becoming the expert of all the tools that you use to bring your brand to life.
Absolutely. When you look at your day job, great, very successful, what's a passion outside of work that you enjoy?
Yeah, I'm a big outdoorsman. I'm outside. I live at 10,000 feet on top of a mountain. Today I'm in my Denver office, but I'm outside. I don't own a TV in my house. We don't look at TVs. We look at these grand views of the mountains. And then I wait for 3-4 o'clock to come. Most of my team's in Europe and UK. So I'm early schedule. I get out there. I get into it. I go fishing. Right now it's spring. Great time to go out and get some tight lines on some trout and just be outside, get that sunshine.
That's excellent. When you look at your career success, what are a couple things you're most proud of?
Bringing innovation. Right now, I'm head of operational AI at Wunderkind, Wunderkind is a great AI-driven team product that does amazing things with AI. But inside operationally, how we operate from business to finance to HR to legal to everything, there's still a learning curve. AI is still fairly new in an operational and an enterprise environment. So I'm really, really excited at the innovation we're bringing, the efficiencies that we're bringing into an organization. It's what I've been doing, at past places like Cheetah Digital and then Marigold, et cetera. And I'm really excited to do it here with the advent of AI and the scalability of AI inside of the Wunderkind org.
Okay. If you could bring one great change to the workforce, what would that be and why?
I think it would be accelerating what AI can do, the education to your entire organization. Everyone from, we have great staff in our World Trade Center office, and they bring in the lunches and they keep the office going, and it's awesome. AI can help them, right? And they aren't always thinking about that because they do physical things of ordering food and setting up tables and chairs. But the education opportunity for any organization, I don't care what industry you're in, I don't care where you are in the globe, AI can come in and make your people more efficient, and not more efficient just from like a numbers and revenue perspective, but more efficient as human beings. I've seen the light bulb turn on some of my younger employees here at Wunderkind when they start to see what's possible with AI. And I've had somebody, recently come to me when I was in the World Trade Center recently, and they said, Tim, I applied what I learned here you were showing me for work with AI to my own personal finances. And, I'm more educated now and I have some better outcomes. So I think AI is going to absolutely change the game. I think it's going to take 5 to 10 years for full adoption, but much like cell phones, our kids, the younger generations, it's in their hand from day one. I think AI is going to be a game changer. So I love the opportunity to educate people on what it can do, and then also learning myself as well.
Excellent. You were very active within the Loyalty360 community. What are a couple things you like about the community, and maybe what would you like to see more of?
Yeah, look, it's great. I've been a huge proponent here. I've been at multiple companies where I've mandated, hey, we have to be a vendor in the program. We have to be a partner in some way. I think the people that are inside the organization, your brand clients, your brand associates, they're always leaning forward. They always want to know more. And it goes back to that education, that thirst for knowledge. So I think Loyalty 360 has built a great organization where people can come in, they can feel safe, they can ask stupid questions, but at the end of the day, there are no dumb questions, right? We just want to learn. We just want to help each other. We want to increase our value. And then also, I've seen relationships being built there where people move from organization to organization, but this kind of becomes one of our common anchor communities that we can keep coming back to. As I mentioned, I think I'm on my 4th company that's been involved with Loyalty 360, but I still see some of the same brands and or people that I've been working with and met here over the years. They might be at different brands now, but they're still in it because they see the value and they see the community aspect.
Absolutely. Last question. We like to end these with some words of wisdom for marketers, customer loyalty professionals who may be new to developing effective customer loyalty strategies, best marketing practices, and elevating the customer experience. What's a piece of advice that you can offer them that could be very helpful?
Yeah, look at mentorship. And even if it's not a formal mentorship with 1 or 2 people that you can identify that have the time to help you, but just like I said about Loyalty 360, get into those organizations, lean in, make the time. I know we're all busy, activating our jobs at work and we've got our to-dos, but look at the opportunity you have for education. And even if you think you have a great idea or if you have a challenge that you're not sure how to tackle, somebody has already done this. I mean, no one's reinventing the wheel for the most part. So lean in, go find somebody, go ask a question, ask Mark, ask the Loyalty 360 org. Hey, we're thinking about X, Y, and Z. Do you know anybody that's already gone through these hurdles and these hoops, made some missteps, and hopefully we don't step in those potholes? I would say just find time to find resources. There are people out there. I'm one of them. I'd love to talk to people and explain my experience if it can help them in any given way. Find somebody that's going to help you navigate new territory for you, because it'll be much easier to get advice and experience from someone else who's already done what you're trying to achieve.
Well, excellent. Tim, thank you very much for taking the time to speak with us today on this Executive Spotlight episode. It was great speaking with you, as it always is. I think you obviously always have the passion that you exude, but kind of a non-traditional path to success is great to hear. And just you always seem to the companies you work for in the past just have a very unique passion and an interest to grow and expand your horizon. So it's great, and I think that listeners can definitely learn from that.
Great, Mark. I always appreciate the opportunity. It's always been good talking to you about any of these things. So again, just appreciate it.
Absolutely. Thank you, everyone, for taking the time to join us today on our Executive Spotlight. Please make sure to join us every Saturday for a new edition of the podcast, and look forward to having you back every week. Until then, have a wonderful day.